The leaves are beginning to change, there's a cold nip in the air, and people are beginning to speak in broken Old English accents, which can mean only one thing. It's a Renfest season here in the Midwest, and to help us jump into that season, Wendy's has released their very own D&D inspired tabletop game, Feasts of Legends. What? You're not as giddy as I am about role-playing as fantasy characters straight from the Wendy's menu? Like maybe the dual-wielding Order of the Baconator. Or you're more of an Order of the Frosty Ice Mage kind of gal. Or, oh no, I get it. You're more the stealth character, like the small and tasty, sly halfling-like class of the Order of the Chicken Nuggets, right? Yeah, okay. It's ridiculous. It's funny. But I'm telling you, Wendy's Feast of Legend Rise from the Deep Freeze, it's no joke. On this episode of the Pop 100, we are talking Wendy's mashup with tabletop gaming, and no doubt I'm going to go completely fanboy on this idea, but even if you aren't into dungeons, fantasy, RPG, tabletop gaming, you're going to want to stick around, as I am going to make the case that this seemingly strange mix-up of gaming and fast food is an important idea for all of us marketers and brands to really understand. This is a Nat 20 roll, which means really good Dungeons & Dragons talk, of an example of how a brand should engage when they decide to play with popular culture. So grab your 12-sided die, roll for a wisdom check as we venture forth into the deliciously dangerous world of Feasts of Legends, Rise from the Deep Freeze, where your party of adventurers battles the scourge of frozen beef patties and the evil Jester King who threatens the honorable city of Freshtofia with his icy grip from the chilly depths of the Deep Freeze. Thank you. Feasts of Legends. It's a fully functioning D&D style tabletop game that was built from scratch from the folks at Wendy's and was released into our world last week, corresponding with the New York Comic Con through a book release party and a partnership with Critical Role, who played the game live on their Twitch stream opening night, while 30,000 live viewers, including myself, slack-jawed in amazement that not only did they pull off this thing, but it was really entertaining. Why I'm in love with this unholy union of brand and nerd culture shouldn't be a surprise. But why should you pay attention to it? Because when you break it down, Wendy's mastered 3-pop marketing techniques that made this baby fly. Hands down, the most important lesson of all for brands and marketers wanting to participate within popular culture is that we can no longer just dip our toes in. Especially in fan culture. If you want to play in their world, you better be ready to commit and add something of value to that culture. If you're a stranger, or even worse, a marketer walking into a party of strangers, you best bring a case of beer to pass around. With Feasts of Legend, Wendy's brought a keg. A fully functioning D&D game and campaign in the form of a downloadable PDF that came in at 97 glorious pages. And there is zero about this game that is not legit. The game plays. And though it doesn't take itself seriously, it is a true and honest homage to classic D&D. Wendy's follows my hard and fast rule when it comes to creating anything in pop marketing, and that is to make it better than anyone thinks it should be. Craft is a sign of respect. It adds to the culture, and this game book is absolutely beautiful. From the illustration to the writing, this rivals the craft of an actual D&D game book, which is known for extremely high standards of both. Craft proves that you aren't there just to steal nerd share of profit from Burger King to improve the frequency of store visits with millennial men ages 18 to 24, which you most definitely are, but I think we'd be surprised how most fans are cool with that as long as you aren't coming in empty-handed. And a small side note here, yes, this launch was timed to correspond with the New York Comic Con, but the experience did not live only there. The launch was built to scale. The PDF was available online to everyone immediately for all to play, and the game was played live online for everyone to watch and engage in that night. The magic isn't in the activation at the event, but how you amplify and resonate that experience to the 99.999% of fans that aren't at that actual Comic-Con or fair. And yes, you could be thinking, Joe, the book is awesome, but it's such a small niche. How is this considered marketing at scale when you're talking to 89 guys in their parents' basement? Which conveniently brings up another pop marketing technique that Wendy's mastered with Feasts of Legends. You see, the art of pop marketing is not identifying what is currently in popular culture, but what is on the edges. What is out there that nobody has noticed? You see, tabletop gaming is a perfect example. Logic would say that video games and mobile games had completely decimated this market, but in 2017, tabletop and board gaming was a $7 billion market. That's with a B. And is projected to grow to $12 billion by 2023. Yeah, tabletop gaming is bigger than ever, and tabletop gaming renaissance has been taking place right under our noses. And it's not because of Stranger Things. This community and trend has been growing steadily for years. The lightning rod was the connectivity of the internet, and specifically the rise of YouTube and podcast content. Tabletop RPGs like D&D's biggest barrier to entry has always been just access to entry. So access and entry to how to play a very complex tabletop game that's very different from something like a Monopoly, and connecting with others that want to play that too. So when the internet took away that barrier completely, D&D not only grew to 5.5 million players, but D&D gaming, live streaming, turned into a spectator sport, doubling or tripling the potential fan base. Part of Wendy's idea to promote the launch was to partner with one of these groups, the popular streaming D&D show Critical Role. It's a group of voice actor friends that got together in 2015 and started playing D&D together live on the web. And now, 4 years later, have helped bring D&D into the mainstream. Their audience is global and big. Just earlier this year, after being laughed at in Netflix, Hulu, and Amazon offices while pitching a cartoon series based on their first campaign, they just went over to Kickstarter and broke the record for the most raised cash during a campaign on the platform, with their fan base raising $11 million to produce this animated series. That's nuts. Even further proof that modern tabletop had a powerful following that nobody had yet tapped into. Lastly, it was a first. Yeah, it's the first time that a brand has built a fully functioning, totally playable tabletop role-playing game. Firsts matter in pop marketing because if you are wanting PR and buzz, and you do, journalists want new. It's kind of why it's called the news. Journalists know that our brains are hardwired to engage and pay attention to new ideas. And those are the ideas that get written about. But don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying that PR is valuable on its own. And write this down, PR and earned media in pop marketing only counts if it supports your positioning and your main message or differentiator of your product. Fresh, never frozen is Wendy's, and it's the core of everything they do, no matter what it is, in TV ad or Fortnite partnership, or if they're writing their own D&D book. Well done by the team at VMLYNR that pulled this thing off. Kansas City pride for sure, and for Wendy's, for continuing to trust your team to take you into new territory. But it's totally Wendy's who gets it. In an economy of attention, boring is expensive. This is very exciting for the Wendy's brand because I feel like it takes the genius voice of Wendy's that kind of was trapped on Twitter and gives it a pathway to scale and become more connected to the brand. Okay, folks, follow me and subscribe on social media. Sign up to my pop marketing email list to get the latest and greatest brand adventures in the world of pop culture. And go get that Spirit Halloween wizard hat on, throw on the old terry cloth robe, and play Feasts of Legends with some of your bestest friends. And tell me in the comments what you think. Fare thee well, adventurers. May your days be long and your nights be shorter than think. Huzzah!